I'm with Coach Dave Miller, and Coach, week 8,
9.
9.
Yep.
My counting's off.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I'm looking at 2 more games left in the regular season. Let's talk about last week.
Okay.
Another narrow defeat this past week. First of all, having to go without Logan Doty. Do you know on his injury status for this week?
Looking better. He's improved each day. He just wasn't ready Friday night. He was dressed in pads, but just probably about 70%. It was just pointless to try to have him go in there and do that. I think we've got a shot this week with him. We'll see. But he seemed pretty okay in practice yesterday. So I know he's frustrated, working as hard as he can to get back into the action, but it's kind of those things are tough. His high ankle sprains they can be nagging. So, but hopefully we'll get him there.
Injuries are part of the game.
They are, unfortunately.
Cam Thornton had a huge reception in the third quarter, but then got hurt. How did that happen, and what's his status for this week?
Now he's had trouble with his knee. On that play in particular, I think he did a little more damage to it. We'll see. It's kind of day by day. But he made a nice play on that. Just trying to get us down there, get in the end zone, fighting his butt off, to get yards here. So, but again, it's part of the game, like you said, and those 2 guys are big for what we do. But like I said last week, we have guys that are trying to step up and fill the void, and that's kind of what we have to do right now. So
I think I'm going to speak about one of them here. Damian Patton was the workhorse on the offense with 31 carries. Can you assess his performance?
Yeah, he did well. He played as a freshman, was more the fullback, and Doty worked more halfback. We switched him last year just to kind of our goal is to try to have them be able to do what he did there. Is a culmination, I think, of what he did as a freshman. Goals for those guys to be able to play both. They're both juniors, Damian and Logan. So it gives us some versatility back there. But the fact that he had a whole year at fullback, and last week he got exclusive reps at fullback, and really we didn't miss. I don't know. They're different styles how they run. Doty was running really well up until the time when he got hurt, but Damian, stepped in there and had some yards there and ran tough. He ran guys over, and so he did a great job, really, filling in there. So.
Skylar Slipher ran Slifer.
Yep.
You would think by week 9
That's
I would
right.
have his name right.
That's all right.
Skylar Slifer ran for 1-yard touchdown. What was the thinking having him carry the ball at the goal line?
Well, he's a load. Our Mike linebacker, he's a tough kid. Kind of went and got some yards on his own. He'd work some fullback. I think that's kind of maybe more his specialty, but he gets better on that too. But did a great job getting us in the end zone. We were kind of struggling down there a little bit, and just kind of BYOB, be your own blocker. He did a nice job getting the 1 yard for us, and got us in the end zone.
After the touchdown, getting stuffed at the 2-point conversion. Any thoughts about just going for the 1, and how did that change the momentum of the game?
We talked about it. I don't think it really had a major bearing. We talked about it after the game. Had some reflection on that. Someone had said, one of our coaches had said, maybe it's a little early to do that. Probably right. But either way, they went for 2. When we didn't get it, if we get the extra point, they're going to kick the extra point. The margin's going to still be the same. So I don't think it had a huge bearing. Probably could have had a better play call. It was they kind of stacked us over there, but we made the decision to go, and we're not ever going to shy away from that. So it is what it is.
Overall, thoughts on the defense, despite giving up the game-winning 25-yard touchdown pass?
I think they played better. We continue to get better each week. We just, there were three or four plays that they usually dictate the outcome of a game, and we just have to improve on those things. We had, again, 3 or 4 plays on defense that gave up some pretty significant things to them, and we got to quit doing that. it just gets us in trouble. We kind of do it each week, and we got exposed. Unfortunately, one of them was a 3rd and 14 where they convert a big pass play earlier in the game to get them down to the goal line. We did pretty well with our goal line defense. And then on 3rd down, we give up a play because we're out of position. And then really it was 2 plays, at the end there. They hit a big pass play. We stopped them for a couple plays and then hit the screen and just not rallying to the ball. We got to do better on that too. So got to get better. I mean, it's really the name of the game this time of year. So.
What did you see on Springboro's interception at the end of the game? It appears that the defender dragged down the receiver before he made the interception.
I don't know. I think if I was on the other side of that, they did throw the flag, I'd have been upset, coming down to something like that. But just we didn't execute when we needed to. I think the thing that the takeaway from the game was what we talked about. I think we came ready to play. Obviously, they did too. It was a good high school football game. We just didn't make them earn it. I mean, it's like I think you end up losing more games than you win. And this is one of those cases where, we made too many mistakes. So it comes down to a play like that. And, I still feel good about the play call. We didn't execute. We got to execute better, but, we're trying to make something happen there and maybe get some. We'd gotten stuffed a little bit, so we were trying to look for something there that could give us a spark. And just unfortunate, but good high school game, like I said. They came to play. But I think our guys did too. I think we had a really good week of preparation, and we continue to do that. We're doing much better as far as our process, and we just have to clean some things up. And this is the time of year we have to do that, or not going to turn out well for us after week 10. So, getting there, that's kind of if we want to do that outcome, but process is what we're looking at anyway. So.
One thing I saw, and I know you haven't done it in any games yet this year, and I don't think maybe any games in the last couple of years, was the opening kickoff. Everybody's expecting you to act like you're going to do a squib kick and then go back and kick the regular. This time you didn't do that. You actually kicked the squib.
Yeah, I mean, we have several ways we can do it. It just depends on what they give us. Coach Gantz does a good job, our special teams coordinator, just figuring out where we want to use it, how we want to use it. And it worked out. I mean, we stole a possession from them, which was huge. Ended up getting a field goal. A touchdown would have been obviously better, but that was big, and I think Cole executed, our kicker, Cole Crane, he executed pretty well. Adam Grant was right there to, make the play, and it's a great way to start the game. Again, we just made too many mistakes within it to come away with a successful outcome in the end. So,
one other one that one of our broadcasters mentioned during the game was that Beaver Creek. I know you haven't played them yet, but they play very similar to you do. Mm-hmm. Springboro got to play them, so it's like they ahead of you, so they kind of knew what was coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad. I mean, you get a chance if you're the other team, you get to see what we do on offense. I mean, Coach Smitherman was over here, and he's a good friend of mine, so we run the same offense or same style. So they do get to see it, but we also get to see what they're going to do too. So I think it's kind of a double-edged, I guess, in that sense. But they did some things differently than they did against Beaver Creek. But, that's not bad for us. It's hard sometimes when you're watching all these spread teams. We don't really watch the film other than for personnel purposes. Typically we go back and we'll look at other things, but that's hard because everybody does such things different than we do. But with Beaver Creek, it's very similar. So it's kind of nice to be able to look at it and say, well, they may do that, so it kind of gives us an indication, I guess, in that sense. But so it is what it is.
Final question for you. This week, it's conference leader Springfield. How do you contain a balanced attack with Christopher Wallace passing and Denante Long running?
It's tough. I mean, Coach Douglas and his staff do a great job getting these guys ready. They've routed off, win after win here, and they're clicking on all cylinders, and we got to do what we do. That's why we do what we do, is for games like this. I think I said that earlier in the season. We were getting ready to play Wayne. We're unorthodox. They know it though. We've got history with them. We played them I think more than anybody on our schedule. We end up getting them in the playoffs and play them during the regular season. And mutual respect on both sides. Their kids play really hard. Coach Douglas, like I said, he does a great job getting them prepared. And we know how big it is, coming in here Friday, but that's part of it. That's part of the fun of playing a schedule like that. I can't imagine being a high school kid, and not wanting to be in a situation like that where you have a chance to play a team like Springfield Week 9. So should be a good one.
All right, Coach, those are all the questions I have for you for this week, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.